lock on in, everybody, as we drop on in.
Consistency being key for some of our teams, of course, floating on in. For others, it's about walking out of the fires. And, well, immediately, it's going to be about this contest. Woo! Stronghold is in a circle, and EXO lay claim to the same building. It will be EXO with the lion's share of the kills on the hunt for Bray, who's just going to turn tail, try and find a safe space, hope and pray that his teammates get back in on time. Of course, the window relatively short to this period, so should be fine, but, well, I think you can kiss Stronghold goodbye.
Yeah, Notreus was not too far away from the young man Bray there. Could have gone in on. Maybe got that full team wipe if he wanted to. Living Quarters, this is a new POI that we're starting to see some action at here, Enigma. I feel like this POI was mainly left alone, mainly uncontested for most of our group stages. Some of our teams finally realizing, maybe with Falcons not in the lobby, this does open up the map just a little bit. We see Kadzu get taken on out, playing on top of that gun, and well, Vidati, maybe you can slide on out, make Vale pay for that trade. It's just not going to be enough, so you got boots on the ground if you are VKA. You've staved off this push from your opponents ahead of you, 9Z. Maybe you can go ahead and back on up. 9Z, definitely need a good game here. Only 7 kills, 9.8 points total. You're gonna need more than that if you want to try and make it to that top set.
Yeah, I mean, 9Z, they come into this tournament, of course, the underdog, and, well, you will answer back if you are Vale, up close and personal, sword in hand, Vidat cut down. And the thing is here, like, of course, they come in as underdogs, but they did talk to us in the player lounge, and they said that they had a couple of plans for LCQ, so let's start to see them if you're going to make that happen. 2 on the board for the team will feel pretty good as you lay claim to the living quarters, quite frankly, as your own for now. You are going to have an inner circle quite close, but you're going to feel that you've done enough here to loot up a little bit and start to find yourself some money for that buy. Yeah,
and I think that's really just sort of what you want to try and do here. If you are that squad, get that money up. You have that buy that you can really use to your advantage. AG Global, they have a buy down at Grandma's if they can manage to get it, but unfortunately for them, EVOS have sort of made their POI be a little bit too mixy, more mixy than they would like. You see Showstopper down here just maybe trying to get an eye on to Scummin, who is looking up towards the top, has a realization that, okay, Jobad's in the tower. Is there any way I can get some damage on in so my other 2 teammates might be able to help on out? But Scummin, he's a little bit stuck, and unfortunately for Showstopper, he's not entirely aware that maybe this little bit of a wall is a wall bangable. But thankfully, your other 2 teammates, they're going to go ahead, back you on up, get the cleanup, get Scummin out of there. And while even though, yes, you might lose a player, we are very early on in this game, and getting Scummin out of that position, very, very crucial.
Yeah, great work there by the EVOS players. Just to swarm back, protect Showstopper, and ensure that your lighthouse is protected. Get Robstar back up in his copy hole, and watch on over as we get this wide shot here. EXO trying to find a way up out of Stronghold that they won earlier on. Now going to make their way into living quarters. We've seen a couple of teams become a little bit unstuck here. Your contest will be against 9Z Globant, Elato, top. Big green here, sniper rifle in hand. And Robstar, he'll open up elsewhere onto Volcom. So it all slows for a moment, a little bit of a breath for everybody in our lobby. And just, I say that, we're going to look on over towards Harbor, where we see Kadzu find one, get cut down, answered back by 5Fears.
Yeah, 5Fears just deciding to play this side of the map, pushing on forward, finding that kill is really, really solid. And Scythe on the back half, he's able to bring down Taney as well. So Inner Circle actually maybe potentially get wiped already. We're going to wait to maybe fully confirm that. I'm seeing 13 out of 14 at the top, so I think that we are good. Inner Circle, not a great game number 3 for them. It's that contested Stronghold hot off the drop, and just unfortunately, it's just not able to regain. 5Fears going to go ahead and stop them. Rock, already a fantastic day so far, feeling very, very solid. So starting to move their way up from that Industries prison side, and well, prison looks pretty open for the time being, so they need to wrap back on up. They can manage to have it, but Gimex gonna be shooting from range, not really give them the opportunity to really get this rotation for free. If you're Prodigy, you got 2 smokes in the backpack, can definitely invest some of those resources for that wrap if you need to, and I think it might be wise to make that happen.
No, I agree with you. One of the things to note here is how much slower things seem to be playing as opposed to our group stage games yesterday. An important note on that is because we know how important placement is, but to really clarify just how important 25 kills is what Rock Esports come into this map on. They are in 4th. 25 kills is also what EXO Esports come into. They are 8th. So that is the difference between qualifying and not, well and truly in that multiplayer. And I think a lot of our teams are recognizing that, slowing down the pace and trying to find safer rotations.
I'll definitely be curious to look at some of maybe the average placements of some of these teams coming on in, because I totally agree with you. It really is the key difference maker between some of these squads. And well, for Leviathan, it's been a great day for them so far. Currently sitting second on the leaderboard. As Stukex, he will be able to find Scythe. A nice little trade comes on through, and you might try and surge on forward. Can you find Big Man here? He's only the last player alive, 4 or 5 fears, and he's just trying to stay alive. We're still very early on, only second circle. Resurgence going to be ticking. Can you manage to stay alive to get the teammates back on in? I don't see them here on the minimap just yet. Big Man will fall, and just in time, he has a teammate respawn back on in. So great job, though, from Leviathan to kind of push out into gas, be able to find that. It's a very aggressive play to be making this early on.
Yeah, I'm a fan of it because it gives them complete control, basically, of that stuff inside. They have Harbor all the way down to Factory. Will give them a nice rotation off towards this circle. Late on 100 Thieves, we know how much work they have to do right now, and a big kill from Blast will come through onto Elolam. He's on 7. This is so much better. You could argue they've got more points already than they had in their previous 2 games.
Yeah.
So the start that you needed if you are a fan of the Thieves, and we will see Gabe can get back in as well. So 3 set up, Stronghold still going to be held here by this XO roster. You're going to have company from the Frenchman in VKA, but they're going to be weakened up. Katu's getting back in, Aydan's in the water, Vidati's just trying to stay alive.
You are full signing this right now if you are XO Esports. Hamoud, he's on 7 as well. The Stronghold POI drop, they know that, hey, this is free, this is open. And while maybe they might not be able to do this strategy in finals, you can do it to get there, and that's what's most importantly. You swing on up, you find Kazu, and there you go. Looking at 8, fantastic.
Not bad at all, XO. They will... They are sitting very much so on that bubble of qualification. Of course, we've still got quite a few maps to go here, but a great start lifts that pressure, lets you play with more freedom later on. For all of these teams right now, that's what you're fighting for. Wars will find coming in the feed, the wide shot. Rock Esports start to figure their way across from prison. They will have company from Gamex just off towards their southern side, so it's how you play it from here. And let's find out, my friend, as we jump in with a listen in.
Well, we're going to be able to bring that back on in here. Rock doing a great job playing towards this bottom prison side. Just go ahead, cleaning up some of these squads. They know this POI like the back of their hand, and it's no surprise to see them kind of come back on here to their familiarity. I think that's the one thing with Rock that I've really enjoyed seeing is that they've made prison really their own identity to be able to have, and they are no strangers to maybe moving out of that POI for a little bit, and then they can come back on in. Leviathan, they can manage to do the same here at Factory. They don't have to fight with Twisted Minds here today, and it seems like they've come back to their home, and they're having some great success with it.
Yeah, they were incredibly successful in European qualifiers, stunned everybody with their performance. And it was off this Factory base. It's understandable to lose the fight to a team as good as Twisted Mind and have to find some different strategies. But today, they can find home comforts and they can well and truly put them to their advantage. Jawad going to be the last of the EVOS Esports roster, tucking at the very top of Factory. That rotation's going to have to come through pretty soon. It's off towards Living Quarters of Leviathan. You're going to have company there. But we get a look at this XO Esports roster, and they are still holding down the Stronghold. The Frenchman in the water will find a couple of kills, one for Patsuka, one onto Elolam, but it's how you get out of here, and there's nothing pretty about this picture if you are a fan of the Gentlemates. As they scramble, they scrape, and they're having to swim backwards, head off towards this eastern direction to give themselves another route in.
Yeah, I mean, I saw those shots from range and then LC-10. I don't know if maybe you just don't have an AR or no long-range option in your back pocket, but gotta imagine maybe some ciphers in hand for XO Esports. We could be seeing a very dwindled Gentlemates team, but the fact that they managed to kind of stave that off and are able to get out of the water for free is absolutely wild. Continuing down here at the Stronghold, because the Gentlemates, they have hopped that wall. They are in the mix here. A couple of teams playing alongside it down here. Of course, you have that XO Esports roster. They are here, but above them is going to be Fnatic, just trying to maybe claw their way back in to this upper side. It hasn't been a great week for them. This could be the turning point. If they can manage to take down the Gentlemates and also bring it to XO Esports and really control the Stronghold side, it could be a huge boon. You gotta go through a number of teams to make it happen, though.
You do, indeed. There'll be so much action going on there, but for now it's for Leviathan to push through Living Quarters. They, of course, have company in EVOS Esports, as well as that 9Z Globin team that desperately need a bit of a map here. Jawad on your screen is trying to set his team up. You're going to be missing Robstar in this, so 2v3 in any fight means you need to find an early engagement, potentially use that money to rotate off, but I don't know how free that buy is going to be, if it does exist out in the open building there. And I'm not actually seeing, oh no, I am seeing it just off towards that bottom left side. So it's trying to make that dive, but 9Z Globin are protecting it. So anyone that wants to make that play, good luck to you, as Elato finds a crack with the sniper rifle and just trying to watch over, find a couple of freebies. Those teams from prison on the next circle will have to drop. If you stay alive for long enough, this Argentinian squad could profit.
Yeah, but AG Global, I kind of like their positioning right here, dude. You're seeing those sniper shots come on through. Rated, he's going to be able to find Big Man and cuts him on down. And if AG Global is able to hold this side up towards headquarters, they might be able to look down at all of this side of living and just kind of start frying if they need to. Because all of these squads stronghold, they have to start making their way on out. You can see already on your screen, some of these teams are starting to move. Fnatic, Gentlemates, basically just going to part ways, start going out. XO, they've already moved up. They've laid claim to one of these buildings. And you can see on the other side, Evos, they're there as well. So as the zone is starting to close on in, so many of these teams just trying to get their ground, make sure that nobody is going to have an opportunity to rotate in for free. XO laying down shots onto Fnatic down below, going to try and maybe back them on off. And yeah, they're going to have to go in a completely different direction. The only problem is here, they got to run directly into the Genemates. But it seems like Exian, he's found some early shots on in. The armor crack is there. You're able to get the knock onto Enkyo. Teammate Patsuka finds Gromlock on the other side. Hollow, the lone man, has to be able to make it happen. But unfortunately for you, Leviathan, they smell blood in the water. They come online. They start pushing on up. Stukex currently sitting on 5, trying to be able to find this, but I think for Leviathan, they realize this might be a little bit too mixy for our liking. Drop the smokes, run away.
Great bit of work there, by the way, from Stukex. Just give Deku the opportunity to self-revive. Fnatic then going to have to rotate through the low ground. There'll be that sole player of Halal for the Gentlemates up towards that top side, but control center still belongs to the Thieves. They haven't seen much action recently and will surely collapse in soon. Squad 4 wiped out of here. Onto H-Mood, who has himself 10 kills, by the way. XO Esports starting to feel themselves. It's a difficult rotation out, though. You've got to decide who you want to fight, who's going to try and hold you. Showstopper will find a bit of blood, but that will be Evos. No, sorry. Evos, yes, wiped off the board. They fall very quickly. And XO, they're starting to try and collapse in up against 9Z. Goodbye. Going to try and shoot some bullets into the back. LC10 will not do it for him. You fall, you're cleaned up. And XO continuing to roll here.
Gentlemates, wipe. Fnatic, wipe. You can see already XO, they're moving on up, but look who is maybe in their way. 100 Thieves looming on the other side, and it looks like AG Global have come down from their top side and are trying to move their way on in, if that is possible. No, that's actually Rock Esports. My apologies. They're being able to come on through, but Gabe Kuhn, he finds Nate Dogg. Final member of AG Global taken on out. Look where this zone is starting to pull here, Enigma. It's on the high ground. It's up towards the top, and I think 100 Thieves maybe have a little bit of a learning from yesterday when they lost that game against VP. They want to hold this high ground when it comes down to this final zone.
Wars will be knocked, Skullface up over the top. You're also going to have company from Hatred in behind, who finds the final blow. So 3 on 1v1. You will see Hatred put up a little bit of a fight, but 12 kills in the feed. It will be the end of his reign of terror as 100 Thieves finally come online in day 3 here in Riyadh. And with a big map. I will say, I don't know how many kills they have across the board because they didn't see much action towards that middle portion at Control Center. But their early work, their late rotation positioning, that